This is Jessie, and you're listening to the Curious Cabinet Podcast. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most extraordinary spiritual events of the 20th century. We're stepping into the vibrant, chaotic streets of Zeitoun, Cairo. In 1968, a city bruised by war, bound by faith, and about to witness a phenomenon that would draw millions. From April 2nd, 1968 to May 29th, 1971, the Virgin Mary, revered across Christianity and Islam, reportedly appeared above St. Mary's Coptic Church, seen by Christians, Muslims, skeptics, and even Egypt's president. These apparitions, set against a backdrop of political turmoil and ancient traditions, weren't just a religious spectacle, they were a cultural turning point. It's Egypt, 1968. And it's in turmoil. In June 1967, the Six-Day War against Israel ended in a crushing defeat for Egypt, costing it the Sinai Peninsula and shaking national pride. President Gamal Abdel Nasser, I don't know if I pronounced that right, so I'm sorry if I didn't. He was a hero of Arab nationalism. He faced criticism as economic woes and political unrest gripped the country. Cairo's streets are alive with tension. Vendors hawk bread, students debate socialism, and the call to prayer echoes over honking horns. Yet faith runs deep. Egypt's Coptic Christians, about 10% of the population, trace their faith to St. Mark in the 1st century, and during centuries as a minority under Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic rule. Muslims, too, revere Mary, known as Maryam in the Quran, as the sinless mother of Prophet Jesus. Now, I don't know too much about religion, so I looked it up, but if you didn't know, Coptic Christians are members in Egypt belonging to the Coptic Orthodox Church, and are one of the oldest Christian denominations. They consider themselves the descendants of the ancient Egyptians and trace their spiritual lineage back to the Apostle Mark, who is believed to have founded the church in Alexandria around 50 AD. Zeitoun is a working-class district in Cairo, rich in diversity. Its name, meaning olives in Arabic, hints at its fertile history along the Nile. St. Mary's Coptic Orthodox Church, built in 1925, stands on Taman Bay Street, a site steeped in lore. Coptic tradition says that the Holy Family, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, rested here during their flight into Egypt to escape Herod's wrath. In the 1920s, a wealthy Coptic landowner, and again, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce this correct, Tawfiq Khalil Abraham, built the church after a dream in which Mary promised a future miracle. Fast forward to 1968, and that promise is about to unfold, at a time when Egypt desperately needs hope. And on April 2nd, 1968, a single sighting sparks a phenomenon that will draw an estimated 40 million people over 3 years. It's just after 8:30 p.m. on April 2nd, 1968. Zeitoun streets are winding down, the air thick with the scent of shawarma and dust. And I love a good shawarma. Oh my gosh, I miss them. I live in an area where, you can't really get much different food. We can get kebabs, but we can't get shawarmas or Indian food or anything like that. So I love a good shawarma, that's all. Anyway, St. Mary's Church, its white domes softly lit by the streetlights, stands opposite a bus garage. Two Muslim mechanics, Farouk Mohammed Atwa and his co-worker, are wiping down tools when Farouk glances up. His breath catches. On the church's central dome, a woman in a flowing white robe, veiled and radiant, kneels near the cross. Her form glows with a silvery light, like a moonlight made solid, her edges shimmering against the twilight. Farouk, thinking she's a nun that's about to leap, shouts, "Lady, don't jump." His coworker freezes, and soon, passers-by, shopkeepers, mothers with children, taxi drivers, all gather, their murmurs growing into a chant, "The Virgin Mary." The figure doesn't respond. She glides slightly, her feet hovering above the dome, her hands clasped in prayer. A faint halo encircles her, pulsing softly. For 7 minutes, she remains, then fades into the night, leaving the crowd in awe. Some kneel, praying in Arabic. Others run to spread the news. In a post-war Egypt hungry for meaning, this sighting ignites a spark. Farouk, interviewed by the Coptic Church, said, "I'm Muslim, but I know what I saw. A lady of light, not human. She was peaceful, glowing like a star. My finger was gangrenous, set for amputation. The next morning it was healed, pink and whole. I believe she blessed me." Farouk's healing becomes a cornerstone of the Zeitoun story, drawing crowds nightly. In a nation divided by war's aftermath, this shared vision, seen by Muslims and Christians alike, offers a flicker of unity. The Coptic Church, led by Pope Kyrillos VI, begins investigating, and the Egyptian government, wary of unrest, monitors the growing phenomenon. By mid-April, Zeitoun is transformed. St. Mary's Church is now a pilgrimage site, with crowds swelling to 100,000 people on some nights. Picture the scene. Families spread blankets, priests lead Coptic chants, and Muslims recite Surah Maryam from the Quran. The government, seeing tourism potential, prints pamphlets, while police struggle to manage the influx of visitors. Egypt's Coptic community, often marginalized, finds renewed pride, and Muslims, revering Mary as a symbol of purity, join in reverence. On April 9th, 1968, the Virgin appeared again, this time for nearly an hour. The sky is dark, stars faint over Cairo's smog, when a golden mist forms above the church. From it emerges a towering figure, her blue and white robes flowing as if stirred by an unseen wind. A halo, like a crescent moon, frames her, and luminous doves, glowing like embers, circle her head, darting at impossible speeds without flapping. She raises her hands, blessing the crowd, and a sweet scent like jasmine and incense fills the air. Some see sparkling lights like diamonds raining down, and the crowd erupts in prayers and gasps. Amina, a Coptic mother, told Al Aram newspaper, "My daughter, paralyzed since birth, was with me. The Virgin's light was blinding, her smile so kind. She looked at us, and I felt her love. That night, my daughter stood, her legs strong. I fell to my knees, thanking God." Through May and June, the apparitions got bolder. On May 12th, a Marian feast, she appears with a child, likely the infant Jesus, cradled in her arms. The crowd sing Coptic hymns, their voices echoing through Zeitoun's alleys. On June 8th, she kneels before the cross, her form translucent yet vivid, as if carved from life. Photographer Wagi Rizik captures her image, a blurry silhouette, yet unmistakable to believers. In Egypt's historical context, these sightings resonate deeply. The 1967 defeat left a spiritual void. Now, Mary, a figure uniting Islam and Christianity, seem to offer solace. Even President Nasser, a secular nationalist, reportedly witnesses a sighting, nodding in quiet acknowledgement. Mahmoud, a Muslim shopkeeper, shared, "I saw her, a lady of light, with doves and a cross. I'm Muslim, but I felt Allah sent her. Her presence was peace itself. I prayed, and my heart was calm for the first time since the war." The Coptic Church declares the apparitions authentic on May 4th, 1968, after Pope Kyrillos' committee investigates. The government finds no projectors or devices within a 15-mile radius, and the Catholic observers, including Jesuit Father Henry Ayru, sorry, I'm very bad with pronunciations, but anyway, he affirms the sightings. In a nation seeking unity, Zeitoun becomes a shared miracle. By 1969, Zeitoun is a global phenomenon. Up to 250,000 people pack Taman Bay Street, their lanterns and flashlights twinkling like a sea of stars. Egypt's Coptic heritage, often overshadowed by its Muslim majority, takes center stage, while the interfaith crowds reflect Mary's universal appeal. On March 25th, 1969, the Feast of the Annunciation, the Virgin appeared for over 2 hours. A supernova-like light erupts above the church, and she emerges, her blue robe shimmering, a golden cross floating before her. She glides across the dome, bowing to the crowd, her movements fluid yet divine. Luminous clouds swirl, forming shapes, angels, a crown, while a sweet incense scent blankets the air. Some hear a faint, ethereal chant too soft to discern. Photographer Saeed told a local reporter, "I shot her image, my hands trembling. She was solid, yet glowing, like starlight in a human form. The doves left trails of light circling her. My photo caught her, but the real thing, it was alive, holy." On April 14th, 1969, the Virgin appeared with Saint Joseph, a bearded figure in robes, standing beside her. The crowd roars, some collapsing in prayer. Healings multiply. A blind man sees. A leukemic child recovers. These stories echo Egypt's ancient Christian tradition of miracles, like those of Saint Manas, while resonating with Islamic tales of divine signs. The apparitions challenge Egypt's secular government, which promotes them for tourism, but fears religious fervor. Yet the unity, Muslims and Christians praying together, offers a counterpoint to post-war division. Sister Maria, a Catholic nun from Alexandria, said, "Mary and Joseph stood together, their light pure. She held an olive branch, a sign of peace. In a land torn by war, it felt like God's promise of hope. I've never known such joy." Skeptics include Western scientists suggest earthquake lights or mass hysteria, citing Egypt's seismic activity and post-war stress. But witnesses insist the figure's human form, gestures, and doves define natural explanation. In a nation shaped by pharaohs, saints, and prophets, Zeitoun feels like a continuation of the divine breaking into history. By 1970, the apparitions slow, but their impact endures. On August 15, 1970, the Feast of the Assumption, a crimson glow envelops St. Mary's, and the Virgin appears for 10 minutes, her veil sparkling like diamonds. She raises her hands, and the crowd falls silent, as if time pauses. Doves spiral upward, vanishing into the sky, and jasmine lingers. In Egypt's Coptic tradition, the Assumption is a major feast, and this sighting feels like a seal on Mary's message. Sammy, a young boy, told a priest, "The lady in red and white smiled at me. I wasn't scared. She felt like my mother. Her light made everything okay, even with the war's sadness. The final apparition, on May 29, 1971, is poignant. A crowd of 50,000 gathers under a starry sky. The Virgin appears faintly, holding a cross, her light dimming slowly as she vanishes. The crowd weeps, yet many feel peace. Over 3 years, millions, Coptic peasants, Muslim scholars, European tourists, saw her, making Zeitoun a unique chapter in Egypt's long spiritual history, from the pyramids to the monasteries of Wadi Natrun. Ahmed, an elderly Muslim, said that last night she was like a fading star, but her love stayed. I believe she came for all Egyptians, to heal our broken hearts after the war. Zeitoun's legacy is profound. The Coptic Church, strengthened by the apparitions, gained global attention, while interfaith unity challenged Egypt's social divides. Healings and conversions, Muslims becoming Christians, skeptics finding faith, marked an era. In a nation shaped by conquest and resilience, Zeitoun was a moment of divine encounter, echoing the Holy Family's ancient refuge in Egypt. Skeptics point to a seismic lights or hysteria, but the collective experience, photographed, filmed, and affirmed by church and state, defies easy dismissal. So, what was Zeitoun? A miracle sent to a war-torn nation? A shared vision born of Egypt's deep faith? Or a mystery we'll never fully unravel? In 1968, Egypt was a land of contrast, ancient and modern, Christian and Muslim, wounded yet hopeful. The apparitions, seen by millions, wove those threads together. From Farouk's healed finger to Sammy's childlike wonder, the testimonies speak of transformation. I'm struck by how Zeitoun mirrors Egypt's past. Moments when the divine seemed to touch the earth, from Moses to Sinai to the Coptic saints. I'm captivated by the light, the doves, the crowds united under a glowing figure. Whether you see Mary or mystery, Zeitoun invites us to wonder, what happens when the heavens break through? If you guys haven't already, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thanks for joining me for today's podcast. Until next week.